Hello, my friends. We have seen a rally in the US dollar. We'll bring up that Dixie chart in a second, but I just want to show you this really quickly because 22K, it may be in play. We're going to dive into that. But when we see that the US dollar is rallying, when in doubt, don't get caught up in the hype of it. I'm just taking the piss this morning, but this is the purchasing power roughly over the last 100 years of the US dollar. It's worth absolutely nothing. It's going to be worth less and less. So then when we have a look at this chart, the US dollar index, the DXY, and we see it at 104.85, and it has come up and it's breaking that 105 there. This is not good, actually, for the rest of the world. Good for the US for sure, but it's not great short term at all. We can zoom out and have a look at the last 3 months. It is sort of trending back up and to the right. A couple of things that I want to dive into here. I just pulled out a couple of quick notes. A rising US dollar is ringing alarm bells overseas. Should stock market investors worry? I just want to say, I'll show you a photo of Miss Bitcoin. She's doing a job. For all the gentlemen out there, you'd probably enjoy that. We'll get to that in a second. A lot of good things are happening with Bitcoin at the moment, so don't get confused. It's all good, and it is going to go up and to the right. Obviously, not financial advice for sure, but it's an exciting time. Inspire Life Goals. Thanks, Sean. I'm looking forward to the stream. Ocean water feedback. I shall get rid of that. Thank you so much. Cheers, mate. Hopefully that's better. Thank you so much. I filmed this yesterday morning. I wanted a half-hour video for you of the sunrise in the background. I will set up a camera live up on the hill and stream it. I just need to get permission to be able to do that. I can't just go ahead and do things. We are fairly regulated here in Australia, like the rest of the world. I'm actually, before we get into this, or we'll get back to this in a second, but Michael Saylor's had a huge win in regards to Bitcoin as well. In regards to the DXY, a rising US dollar is raising hackles overseas and getting the attention of investors at home and abroad. The dollar rise is starting to unnerve everyone. Last night, both Japanese and Chinese officials attempted to thwart the greenbacks rally, but weren't effective, said Edward Moyer, senior analyst at Onada, in a note. Maybe I said that correctly. We'll go with that. Japanese yen continues to slide versus the dollar, trading near 148 to the US unit, its weakest in 10 months, despite warnings from Japanese authorities that currency buying intervention could be in the offing. FX talk is cheap if it doesn't come with convincing data, market conditions that support decisive and meaningful action, Moyer wrote. The ECB will struggle to convince markets they can hike into a deteriorating outlook. Japanese officials are still only about halfway through their best verbal intervention threats. A gradual decline in yuan is not China's biggest problem. The property crisis and contagion risks are getting to very uncomfortable levels. It is very possible that China has a massive real estate crash. That contagion will flow through the rest of the world. We are seeing tinfoil hat time, I understand, but we are seeing the propaganda come out in regards to wearing masks at home. Currently not on my side of the world, but on the opposite side of the world. I'm sure you're aware of the representative that I'm referring to that needs to wear a mask inside with his wife. So read between the lines. It is who it is. They are seeding the public consciousness that masks are coming back, that we may have another contagious effect. What does that mean? Ultimately, it means money printing. When will that happen? We don't know. So is 22K still in play? We are going to get into the numbers very shortly. Just hold that thought. We'll actually come back to Michael Saylor first. There's a couple of things that's good, but it's accounting. And occasionally I can find accounting pretty boring. If you're not surprised on that one, my apologies. Block height, 806,503. The time is 5:58 a.m. Exchange, 25,675 USD for 1 BTC. Sats per US dollar, 3,895. Are we going to see 4,000 sats per dollar come back? It is very possible. We're going to dive into the $22,000 call that is going out there. I wouldn't be worried, and I'll tell you why in a second with it. Average block time, I love looking at this. It's 10 minutes and 13 seconds, so it's only going to come down 1.2%. I believe the last previous adjustment was down, 2.65%, and the one before that was like up 6% as well. One of the things that I found yesterday when I was looking at here is if you click info, there's something, it brought up something way different yesterday. Wizard, that's right. You need to click on the wizard. Future estimation, search by block. This is pretty cool. So if we have 11-minute block times, this tells you the rough date when we can have the next Bitcoin halving. So if we get down to 9 minutes, the 1st of April, April Fools. It's the day that my dog was born, believe it or not, my little Chester. Pretty cool. April 26th at the moment is what we are looking at. And it's going to be pretty close to that. April 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. I call it around there at that time. I just want to show you this. A little bit of red, a little bit of green. It's not really that important. What's important though is the Bitcoin price, 25,647 today. We did see this spike up and it didn't get above 26,000. This is where it really needs to get to. It needs to break that 26,000. What's happening is we are going range bound. There's no liquidity in the market either. Even that big drop in the last 7 days from 27 down to the mid 2500s. It is what it is. And I'll tell you why I'm excited about it in a moment. Because it's a red day, I'm buying. I just make it super simple. When in doubt, not financial advice, but it's always pretty good to be able to buy. Now, so Miss Bitcoin, for the gentlemen out there, buy Bitcoin. I'm always looking for new and different ways to spread Bitcoin awareness. What other cool ways have you used or seen to introduce people to Bitcoin? As truth be told, sex sells. Is this a good thing? Yes. For the misogynistic men out there, anyone with testosterone out there, it is what it is. Is that going to help Bitcoin adoption? Some miss Bitcoin in a bikini? Probably. Yep. That's the state of the market. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? If it gets people outside that are playing altcoin shitcoins, hanging around with Ethereum, and they see Miss Bitcoin, and they're like, oh, okay, now I need to shift over from the shit. I was trying to refrain from saying that. Despicable word. But what other word is there to describe altcoin so perfectly? If Miss Bitcoin can bring these boys over and they come over to Bitcoin, they find themselves and they turn into men, it's a great day. Anyway, put Miss Bitcoin back on. I am going to get roasted by my wife. How about I retweet it for you? Repost. There we go. How's that? So at Sean Clark 911. Now, Kathy Wood. May I say, Kathy Wood is beautiful. She's still beautiful now. You should have seen her as a young lady. As beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Someone that's following truth, the path forward, light. They're enlightened. They're in line with light. That's beauty to me. Anyway, with that, so like the 4 women watching this video, I apologize for this. Can't always hold myself to the highest standard that I'd like to. I've jumped on here today to have a bit of fun, but we will dive into Michael Saylor, and there are some nuggets of information here. It's not a massive news day, but 22K could be in play, but there's so many good things going on. So let's talk about it. Now, Kathy Wood, when I read this morning, was bloody disappointing. because I like Cathie Wood. I think she's great. Cathie Wood ARK Invest files for spot Ether ETF. Cathie, come on. Cathie is obviously very smart, very intelligent in the business of making money. As an Ethereum ETF, is it a good thing, a bad thing? It is what it is. Ethereum sucks, but there is adoption, there is use case. This is hard to say, but there is a use case for Ethereum, and that is stablecoins. Can stablecoins come onto Bitcoin? Yes. Should they? Not necessarily. Yes, it raises the transaction fees, but it raises it for everyone else, and we don't need that degen casino to start coming over to Bitcoin. Not yet. I don't think we're ready for it, and I've linked actually a link to drive chains below an article. Something I need to dive into. If you know someone that's an expert on drive chains, BIP 300 and 301, be very interested to get connected. If anyone knows them, drop in the comments or reach out on Twitter. Anyway, ARK21 shares Ethereum ETF, first attempt to list such a fund in the US, directly invest in Ethereum. ARK Invest and 21 shares have applied for regulatory approval for an ETF that would directly hold ETH. The filing also comes ahead of what's expected to be SEC approval of the first futures-based Ether ETF. A decision from the SEC is expected on or before mid-October. Short term, not too bad actually for the market. If this gets approved, we will get a little bit of a little bump up, which is good. People get excited. People like it when it's green, which to me seems like insanity. We want the red days. John, let's celebrate the beauty of women. No apologies, and beauty does come in many forms. The body is just, I've got a love heart in front of it. There's something apparent. It's just this most apparent. Much love. Thanks very much, John, and well said, brother. For everyone that's just joined me over the last couple of weeks, I jump on live nearly every single weekday. And I say nearly because every Wednesday you will get an interview that comes out with the best, the brightest minds within Bitcoin. They will come out on a Wednesday my time, Tuesday for everyone in America. And I understand most of my audience is in America, but shout out to everyone in the world that has joined lately. Brendan, Cathie sounds so intelligent, but if you listen too hard, you'll go broke. Interesting. And yeah, interesting. Especially when she's playing around with Ethereum. It's about getting the fees. They're in the business of making money. Is Ethereum adoption good for the world? What I was saying with stablecoins, in a way, I suppose so. Macro never plays out in the time frame she'd like. No. And that's what I found as well with being in the space since 2019, is you can never put a price target and a time target together. It just does not happen. It's impossible. Can we see the trend and we know where it's going and we can guess? Yes. And can we make decisions on that? Yes. But if you're looking to buy in or ladder out and you've got a price target, you can ladder out there. Or if you've got a time target where we are in the cycle as well. 6, 12, 18 months after the Bitcoin halving, that's when we really want to start paying attention. Anyway, back to Cathie Wood. The industry will likely push for more crypto ETFs. Let me just finish that thought. Sorry, I got sidetracked. So during the week, I'll go live and I'll just talk about what's going on there, have a little bit of a banter. So feel free to say hi. You are going to get the most value though from those podcasts. I'm aware of that. It's where I put the time, the energy, the focus into, but I love just coming in here, having a bit of a chat, having a bit of a banter, connecting, just having a whole lot of fun, ladies and gentlemen, with you and keeping up to date with what's going on. We are, for me, why do I do this? Why do I Bitcoin? Why do I jump up every day and talk to everyone out there? Because it's important. It is our last chance of freedom, in my opinion. It's a fight between good and evil, good versus bad. Bitcoin is good, so I want to be on the right side. Here we have the sunrise happening just below. How beautiful. Anyway, it was awesome. I was doing my Qigong, my star jumps and stuff as this was happening yesterday. Now, Grayscale asks SEC to meet on way forward for Bitcoin ETF conversion. We believe the trust's nearly 1 million investors deserve this fair playing field as quickly as possible. 6:09 a.m. September. So it's 6:09 now. On September 5th, Grayscale's lawyers sent a letter to the SEC requesting the pair meet to discuss the next steps following the regulator's court loss regarding the conversion of the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, GBTC. Now that the Court of Appeals has spoken, there is no available rationale that would distinguish a Bitcoin futures ETP. So an ETP is an exchange-traded product, an ETF, an exchange-traded fund, from a spot Bitcoin ETP under the legal analysis previously adopted by the Commission and rejecting spot Bitcoin ETPs. Grayscale are doing really good things for us. Everyone pushing back against SEC is absolutely amazing. The SEC is getting destroyed there as well. Here's why Bitcoin will hit 22K soon. Now, before we could dive into this, for me, I make it super easy. I buy on red days and I hold and I stack. That's the easiest way. But if you want to wait for 22K, why not? Why not? If you've got funds on the side, gunpowder on the side, and it drops down there, it's a great opportunity. $20,000, 22, whatever the price is. We're under 30, we're under 32,000. I feel it's all good. Even under 42, 44,000, I think it's a good risk to reward. And really, if you're here for the long haul, who cares what price you buy it at the moment before the halving. So, report discussed why 22,000 is the next logical step. The market's not logical, ladies and gentlemen. That's the word that I was trying to pull out. Now, Bitcoin and BitMEX co-found. Okay, step for Bitcoin. 22,000 is the next logical step for Bitcoin. Let's make this sentence make sense. And so the BitMEX co-founder, Arthur Hayes, claims the bull market started back in March. We've been talking about that, I agree. Maybe even a little bit before, but March is a pretty good day to put that flag in the sand there and send the troops forward. And the troops are all the weeks that we've had. These are the troops. Here's the flag in the sand. And look at it, it's March. Boom. Looks good. Those troops are just march steady forward. Look, it's a flag. Goes up, flags across. How interesting to use that analogy, and it is a flag going here, coming down. Is it gonna wick out another boost up? Yes, when? Do not know. Anyway, let's get back to 22,000. Oh, Michael Saylor, that's such a good article. Okay. At this stage, I'm not seeing either side establish any real strength. In fact, in my opinion, this move doesn't indicate strength and bearish momentum as much as it indicates that bullish momentum and sentiment seem to be fading. Sorry about the sunrise. The phone stopped recording after 18 minutes for some reason, which was pretty annoying because I did set it up and wanted to get a half an hour sunrise video. I'll get one next Wednesday, as I won't be live because we will have a video. Oh, the video next week's absolutely fantastic. Enjoy it. Anyway, at this stage, we saw that. Whatever the case, I do not trust those buy walls to just sit there and get filled. We'll see. It's a very interesting time. Now, Michael Saylor, this is a win, especially for Michael Saylor's micro strategy. Fair value accounting is coming to Bitcoin. This upgrades to FASB accounting rules, eliminates a major impediment to corporate adoption of Bitcoin as a treasury asset. Massively bullish. I only saw this like a minute before I went live. I need to dive into it because this is a huge catalyst with it. So I think the best thing for me to do for everyone is to repost that one, and then I need to dive into it a whole lot more. I'll bookmark it as well. We will dive into that. I just want to show you this. Oh, come on, mouse. This was at 96% the other day. It has dropped down to 93%. This is the target for the Fed meeting that's coming up. I think it's not too long, 13 days, 21 hours, so 14 days, roughly 2 weeks. It is coming. This is increasing slightly. Are they going to raise it? potentially, if they do, the markets will drop. If they don't, we may get a little bump and then it'll be more sideways action until we get an approval of something that's going to drive us forward. So this is an article that I linked about drive chains. Another thing that I need to dive into more, if you know anyone that is an expert or knows about BIP 300, BIP 301, I would like to dive into it more and more. This article here was meant to be a really quick, easy to understand way of BIP 300 and 301. And this is them consolidating the data, a lot of information to go over. So we will do that. And this is that article, another article in regards to Michael Saylor's. When the FASB says crypto assets should be marked at current values, the US standard setting organization for accounting has moved to insist companies use fair value accounting to report their crypto holdings. Really good. We will dive into that probably tomorrow morning. And I've got some amazing interviews. I'm interviewing Michael Dunworth. This is the alarm to be able to go see the sunrise. I'm so addicted to it. Get that vitamin D. There's nothing more important, to be honest, than vitamin D and spring water. If you just do those two things, massive life hack. Anyway, I want to jump into the comments and then I want to see the sunrise. We can see, I don't want to dox myself too much, but we can see the sunrise and stuff from the house. And I'd love to set up a webcam and show you. The view's beautiful, but I don't really want people to know where I live. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ocean feedback. Kathy, macro never plays out. Love your channel, mate. Thanks heaps, Brendan. I feel that the SEC is forced to be fair and all ETFs will be lined up like racehorses on Derby Day. Such an interesting thought there. It's just really a circle jerk, isn't it? Is that the right word? Is that the right thought to be able to use? It's a guess, as an educated guess, potentially not. The SEC is so irrational. We have no idea what they're going to do. My thoughts is exactly what John is saying, is they will line them all up and it'll just push them all through. But I think the first one to come through is going to be the BlackRock ETF. I just feel like, and it may just be minutes, they may publish it at once, but it's going to be the number one up there. They are the world's largest asset manager. You know, the Fed calls up BlackRock, Larry Fink, for advice. They do that. That's very interesting. The Fed, Jerome Powell will spend more time talking to Larry Fink than he does with the president. Fact. John, most likely March, yeah, or February, maybe, is the first one next year. It's going to be interesting because I feel like there's collusion going on. And they're just pushing this out and they've done it perfectly. I feel like someone's been tapped on the shoulder and said, go for it. Let's go. It's time. We're ready. We're ready for you to go for a Bitcoin ETF. They're going to push out. But Larry Fink's already our marketing manager for Bitcoin, which is great, which is fantastic. And he's in it for the money, not for the technology, which is fine. I don't mind with that because the more people that get exposure to Bitcoin, not everyone is going to go down the route of self-custody, putting your keys on steel with that. They're not going to read all the books. They're just going to see that the number goes up and they're going to jump in, but some will. Some will stop and be like, why is everyone interested in this? And it is going to go up and it's going to come back down again. Hopefully when it comes back down, it's probably opposite for you, but hopefully that looks right. When it comes back down, we should have a higher low. We didn't this cycle, which was very interesting, very unusual, but we have such little data. Hopefully we get a high low from this cycle here, but it will be what it will be. As people dive in, some of those people, maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 5%. If we're lucky, 10% of those people will start to understand what Bitcoin is and they will learn to self-custody and hold it for the long term. Because what is going on with the banks, the collapse, the US dollar, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen. It could happen next year. Like, more and more banks are going to fail, but they've got their hands on the money prints. The US economy is absolutely massive. They have a few tricks up their sleeve there. So mathematically certain, when will it happen? Maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's 20 years. It doesn't really matter. Maybe it's 100 years. Maybe it doesn't happen in our lifetime. I still want to stack Bitcoin and be able to pass it on. That's the goal here, is to be able to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Within Bitcoin, it's good either way, which is insane. If the prices are down, it's good buying opportunity. If the price is up, you feel happy and joyous. Hopefully you feel happy and joyous all the time. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the sunrise is happening. Have a very beautiful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Be blessed. Peace. And say g'day on Twitter. I'm very active on there and I will respond if you want to have a conversation. The phone is saying, get out to the sunrise. Anyway, hopefully you get some vitamin D, some spring water. Be blessed. Peace.